Hi there, this is the Teeny Tiny Art Challenge. I'm doing this challenge in collaboration with Web Like Dreams, Jenna Gets Creative, Lori Faye Art, Aurora's Art World, and Draw Art Lab. After you finish this video, please visit their channels through the links in the description and see what they did for this challenge. For my take on it, I have these 4 tiny canvases. They are 2.5 by 2.5 inches. I believe I got them at Walmart. Instead of painting 4 individual images on each one, I thought it would be fun to try to create a portrait using all 4 canvases. So each canvas will be a piece of the portrait that I paint separately, and at the end I will put them all together to see if I have succeeded. I am going to be using acrylic paint for this challenge. First thing is to open these little guys. Something you might not be able to see on camera, well, you might be able to see it. So on the back, there's these little wooden panels that the canvas is stretched over, and there's a bit of a dip in the middle of the canvas. Can you see that? I don't think it's going to affect the overall painting, but it's something I'm observing. So first step to creating my portrait was to map it out on my iPad, because I always use that for planning out my sketches. I especially don't want to damage my canvases too much with erasing, so having things mapped out seemed like a good idea. I edited my canvas size in Procreate to come to the dimensions of what all 4 canvases create once they're put together, and then I section it out to be as big as each canvas is, so I can map out exactly where I want each part of the portrait to take up space on the canvases. I'm going with a basic straight-on angle, and normally I like to do some type of expression when I do portraits, but I thought for this one I'd do something I haven't done before and have the character crying. So her expression should be sad with the addition of tears on her face. I'm using a 2H pencil, so the lightest one that I have, to sketch very lightly on the canvas. The lighting changes a bit throughout this, so I'm sorry for that. I know it's hard to see the sketch because it's so light and the lights are so bright. Here are most of the colors I'll be using, all from Walmart and about 50 cents each. I'm just now realizing I forgot to use the gold. I wanted to paint the skin first, but I painted around the eyes just so I wouldn't lose their outline. My initial idea was to paint each section separately, but it quickly became apparent that I would need to have them next to each other so I could get the skin tone the same on each panel. It kind of looks like an alien with that head shape and no eyebrows. I was really happy with how I was getting the tone variation in the skin, so darker in the shadowed areas and brighter near the middle of the face, where you'd see the highlights. Also, I'm pretty upset with what I did to the nose. At this point it looks really nice, but somewhere along the way it ended up changing somehow and not looking the same. At first I was worried that using small canvases to make one larger image wouldn't qualify as a teeny art challenge, but let me tell you, it was definitely a challenge. Trying to get these little things lined up, keeping the tone/texture the same throughout all of them when I'm trying to match wet paint to the color of already dried paint, which is frustrating if you forget that acrylic paint usually dries darker than when you first put it on. I do think it came out cute in the end and pretty artsy, but try it at your own risk. The eyes were really fun to paint too. I tried to go for a more abstract pattern in the iris so it looked more natural, like lines of dark green with little flecks of bright green. For certain parts, it was necessary to have the pieces lined up, like here where I'm painting the bridge of the nose. The red paint of the lips was looking like lip gloss when I was painting it on, and I was loving it. Can't forget the shinies! I used a felt tip Kuretake Mangaka pen to do the eyelashes because I have more control with that than I'm able to get with a paintbrush. Also, this black pen is darker than my black paint, and I really wanted the black areas to be bold so the features of the eyes pop more. I also started using it to map out where the hair would go, but it all gets covered up and didn't really help me at all. I wanted a really curly texture for the hair, but because of the square edges, it was looking kind of funny at first. But once I got it all painted out across all 4 canvases, it's easier to imagine it's a nice poofy hairstyle that goes beyond the edges and not a square-shaped haircut. In the hair, I used about 4 different shades of brown along with black and a deep red called barn red to get depth and dimension. It was also necessary to have all the pieces lined up so the tears would connect in the right places. I used a light blue for the main section with a dark blue outlining it, giving the illusion that the tears aren't flat and have some body. Then I added some white to add some shiny, wet-looking highlights. And I painted the outer edges for a more finished look. It's not terribly noticeable when you're facing the canvases head on, but it does help if you're seeing them at an angle. The hair had fallen a bit flat, so I spiced it up by adding some more variations of brown. I think this really brings the hair to life. So here she is, completed. I made a short video of this on my TikTok, and it goes along with the song Break Even by The Script. I thought about uploading it to YouTube as well. Even though it has copyrighted music, I'm not monetized at this time, but even if I was, I'm not really worried about whether it would get demonetized for copyright. I just want to share what the finished video looks like with the music it's meant to go with. So in the meantime, if you have TikTok, you can see the video on my page. I'm Artsy Pineapple Official. And if not, I might end up uploading it to YouTube anyways, just for fun. We'll see. Remember to check out all of the other channels in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. And thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye!